Howdy everyone, Yelpy Voltage, and oh boy, it's time for another fun round. It's Ness versus Red Smash Bracket. Let's see who's officially stronger. Red gets 6 Pokemon. Ness gets his Psy powers. Personally, I've got to unfortunately say that Ness does not have much of a chance. It's a 6-on-1. But let's find out.
Let's get right into things with our first fighter for today, Red. There comes a time in everybody's life where they look up at the stars, take a deep breath, and think, hot dang, I wish I was a Pokemon trainer. For me, it started around 2nd grade, when I wrote to the President of the United States asking him to make Pokemon real to achieve world peace. True story, for whatever reason, it didn't pan out. But for our hero today, Red, it all began at the young age of 13 in a small place called Powell.
Yeah.
A place so small, you have to wonder how it functions with a population of only 10 people. Growing up, Red's favorite pastime was playing with his best friend, Blue. But as time went on, Blue decided that he was too good for the other 9 people in Palatown. He began to bully Red. This left Red in desperate need of a new friend. And that's when he stumbled into the wonderful world
Of Pokemon.
Some stories say that Red's journey began with a Poliwag named Polly, who saved Red from drowning as a child and became his closest partner. But most telling of Red's story takes us to the lab of the local Pokemon professor, Professor Oak, who offered both Red and Blue the choice of their very own starting Pokemon, Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur. And no matter what Red...
Actually, in the comments of the video, what Pokemon would you pick out of the Startle Tree trio? Me personally, I honestly would have to pick Charmander. Because, well, I've just grown really to like it a lot in the story they're working on, Voltage's Adventures. And Charmander, well, I've always liked him in the past a lot as well, so let's continue this.
Blue was always right there to counterpick him with the best option and try to beat him. And, embarrassingly enough, lose. But this sparked a fierce rivalry between the two. Red set off to prove to Blue and to himself that he was someone worthy of the title Pokemon Master. He traveled to the Kanto region, collecting every Pokemon he could get his hands on and faced down every gym leader in the country, only to discover that Blue was doing the exact same thing and was always one step ahead of him, wiping out the gym leaders right before Red got there. And let me tell you, these gym leaders were no pushovers. They were the highest-ranking Pokemon Masters with the explicit purpose of testing the merits of trainers to find the best of the best. These were
Her in particular
that
stuff.
trainers spent years practicing for, but Red and Blue cleared through them in a matter of weeks as preteen boys. These kids were destroying the best trainers around and found that they had a level of command over their Pokemon that was almost unrivaled. Eventually, Red grew so talented that he was given a shot at challenging the Elite Four, a task force of the 4 best Pokemon trainers in the entire region. If he beat them, Red would get a chance to battle the Pokemon champion and eventually become the best that there ever was. And in order to overcome this challenge, Red was going to need some help. So he set out to catch every single Pokemon in the region. In the Kanto region, Red was able to catch all 151 Pokemon. And shortly after that, he ventured to catch Pokemon from other regions, eventually bringing his total to 386 Pokemon. But despite this huge selection, he typically only battles with a core team of 6. Some of the staple Pokemon, and the ones that we're using today, are Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, Snorlax, Lapras, and Espeon. The 6 of them together cover just about every damage type.
He has a Pikachu that he's known for, but that kind of is not allowed because Pikachu's already in Smash Bros. So Pikachu can't fight for Red. Because if you fight for Red, then that automatically make Pikachu have 2 instances where he can win the tournament, which ain't fair.
Charizard is a high-speed striker made to get in fast and do some serious damage. In combat, it's moved so fast that rains come to a complete standstill, which would require Charizard to be moving nearly 1.5 times the speed of sound. And this speed helps it make full use of its power. Now, I could talk about how its flames are hot enough to melt stone and strong enough to shake an entire island, but my favorite display of Charizard's strength is here, where it knocks out a Pidgey in a single attack, literally just by breathing. What a legend. With a strong bond to its trainer and a Mega Stone, Charizard can Mega Evolve to rocket its stats to an all-time high, and look extra cool while doing it. And if it needs some extra help, it can activate Beat Up, which brings all 6 of Red's Pokemon into battle for one massive attack. Getting to the next Pokemon, Venusaur serves as a major source of utility for the team.
It's the
While it's
healer.
strong enough to slice through solid stone, its true threat comes from the dangerous status effects that it has. Whether that's debuffing its target stats, poisoning them, putting them to sleep, changing the weather, enhancing other moves, or shooting a giant sun laser from its back. One of these things is not like the other. But Venusaur is a vital part of Red's strategy, much like his next Pokemon, Blastoise. This thing is a perfect mix of strength and defense, able to use its sturdiness to function as somewhat of a ranged brawler. While it has access to moves that can increase its defense and attack power,
Okay, honestly, I know a lot about Red. I'm gonna get to Ness. Because honestly, Red, it's easy to figure what the hell he does. If you've watched Pokemon at all in your life, you know what Red can do. I'm gonna get to Ness, the actual fucker.
All things considered, Ness was a pretty average teenage boy. He loved baseball, his favorite thing in the entire world was rockin', and he always wore his signature t-shirt and shorts no matter the weather. Ness lived in a country called Eagle Land, on the northern outskirts of a small city called Onett.
Yeah, I
He lived
remember.
with his mother and his sister and the family dog, eating home-cooked steak and relaxing with his friend, Porky. Ness lived a peaceful, happy, uneventful life. Until a meteorite slammed into the earth next to his house, Ness jolted awake and went to go investigate the site with Porky, only to find out that this was no ordinary meteor. It contained an elite, time-traveling insect warrior named Buzzbuzz, who warned Ness of an Gaius. But before Buzzbuzz could relay all of the details, he was murdered by Porky's mom, who just thought he was an ordinary bug. Talk about a buzzkill, am I right? I'm here all day, folks.
Why are you the way that you are?
But with his dying breath, Buzzbuzz left Ness with the following prophecy. Ancient legends told of 4 children who banded together to defeat Gaius. They must unite, multiply their power with the earth itself, and remember that their true power is wisdom, courage, and friendship. So to start off, Ness needed to seek out 8 special locations called sanctuaries to unify his heart and lead him to victory. Now remember, despite this lofty prophecy, Ness was still just a young teenager from a small family in a small town. The only thing he destroyed is a piece of steak at dinner time. This all came out of nowhere for him. But despite his lack of training and despite his experience, Ness knew that people were counting on him. The world was counting on him. So he took the only weapon that he had, an old, cracked baseball bat, and set off to save the universe. He started off in his hometown by single-handedly clearing out an entire gang of criminals called the Sharks. He fought through their ranks and faced off against their leader, and also completely demolished a tank to get to the first location of the sanctuary. This was like 10 minutes after he left. What was his mom feeding him? Anyway, when he got there, he fought a giant magical ant, as one does, and claimed the first of his 8 sanctuaries. And it wouldn't be long before he got the remaining 7. But to find them, Ness had to team up with new friends. By using telepathy, a young psychic named Paula was the first to find him. And she was shortly followed by a geeky bedwetter with rocket launchers named Jack, and a mystical prince named Pooh. Together they adventured to increase their power in hopes of somehow stopping Gaius. But as they grew stronger, Ness awoke to a powerful magical ability called Psi. Interestingly enough, most of the spells that he's associated with due to his appearance in Super Smash Bros.
Aren't
Aren't
real.
actually spells that he can do. But Ness still has a variety of powers at his
PSA
disposal.
rockin'.
Life
Ness's signature attack also translated as PS Kaya. PSA Flash. Yeah, this one's gonna need its own slide. Life up heals Ness's HP, heals status conditions. Use PSI PK interchangeably depending on the transition. Okay then. So he can heal himself and he can also heal status conditions. So say for example, if Venusaur poisons him or something like that, then he could actually heal himself in these battles. He might actually be a threat.
back from damage
Like Lucas
boosting,
was to
and healing
Wario,
can heal
but
his status
Wario still
effects during
won.
the battle. In the official Earthbound novelization, this took the form of an ability called Psycho Heal, which automatically healed Ness back from the brink of death, bending his bones and filling him with the energy to continue fighting. What's better than healing, though, is preventing damage in the first place. Shield reduces damage taken by 50%,
Hypnosis puts the
and
target
turns
asleep.
the remainder
Paralysis
back
put
on the
put
attacker.
shield
He also
teleport.
has some limited
Kill places
utility
out of
by
venom, but
being able
needs
to
a running start.
teleport to a location of his choice, providing that he can build up enough speed. But none of these are quite as useful in battle as his offensive spells. Hypnosis and paralysis do what they sound like. But things start to get more interesting with the spell Psy Flash. This ability generates rays of light that can wipe out hordes of enemy in a single go with some strange effects. The most notable is a 40% chance
Insta-kill?
to instantly destroy anything it touches.
Blindness?
But there's also a 35%
Numbness?
chance of causing an enemy to
To attack
die
their allies
somewhat
or
until
even
the blink they're
themselves.
effectively blinded. And a 10% chance of causing the target to feel strange, making them attack themselves and their allies instead of Ness.
Based
Just
that's
the single
confusion.
use of this attack is absolutely devastating and a serious risk to any enemy nearby. His strongest attack, though, has to be Psy Rocket, which in the book he describes as a rockin' 150-mile-per-hour fastball that represents the ultimate manifestation of his soul. We'll get into this attack more in a minute, but for now just keep it at the back of your mind. All of these abilities filled Ness with the power and confidence to become a force for good in the world. He fought all sorts of evil beasts and weird beasts and coffee beasts. Okay, Earthbound is Earthbound. But there's
Weird.
also a certain charm that comes with this weirdness, and it's part of what makes it so memorable. And the same quirkiness extends to Ness's arsenal, too. He can negate otherwise lethal attacks with his trusty teddy bear, pull out a sock so dirty that it induces violent vomiting, or shines his teeth with a toothbrush so that his glorious teeth can paralyze an enemy. Not all of his items are weird and quirky, though. He upgraded from his old, worn baseball bat to a legendary bat that amped up his strength and guts, allowing a greater chance for a powerful smash attack that does double damage. He also has a bag of Dragonite that holds a powder that can transform him into a dragon for a single powerful attack.
What?
And the Franklin badge, which can turn lightning back on the attacker. This
I
badge
did not know he could do that. He can turn into a dragon? That is insanely awesome.
is actually worthy of note, though. Not only for its presence throughout the franchise, but also for where Ness obtained it. Ness received the badge before a battle with the leader of an evil cult who uses lightning-based attacks. While in gameplay, we can see the full extent of what this looks like, we can see it on display in the Earthbound manga. Ness uses a burst of speed to leap in front of the lightning bolt and manually deflect it with his badge. Given that these are still panels, it's hard to measure the speed of the lightning. So a conservative approach would be to compare it to real-life Tesla coils, which produces electricity that looks fairly similar to what we see here. This means that to intercept the electricity, Ness would have to be moving nearly 1.3 times the speed of sound. The cultist that Ness fought was also notable for another reason. He was being possessed and influenced by an evil figurine called the Manny Manny statue, a relic that corrupted an individual by showing their true power without any modification on its part. Rather than lying to them, it uses the allure of legitimate power to corrupt its targets to serve it. So, why does this matter? To answer that, it's time to get into the true extent of Ness's power. It's time that we come back to PK Rocket. After obtaining all 8 melodies and visiting every sanctuary, Ness awoke in a new dream reality called Magicant. This realm within his mind allowed him to revisit memories that he made across his journey. And upon seeing these memories, both good and bad, Ness was able to accept and integrate every aspect of himself. And after this journey of self-reflection, Ness unlocked his true power, gaining a massive stat boost. While he was powerful before, it was nothing compared to his power after. Eventually, he was able to take hits from Gygas himself. And while this was a clear increase in Ness's power, there's no clear indication of the kind of power that Gygas was putting out, nor what Ness's true power looks like here. But luckily, we can turn to the Earthbound novelization once more for some clarification of what this might look like. The statue puts Ness in a parallel dimension, where he's able to demonstrate his full, unbridled power. He yells and lets out a massive bang. This power causes the sun to explode and the earth to tremble. The sky shatters and a vortex of blood shoots out of the older kids next to him. Thunder rings out through the air and the atmosphere itself boils like a witch's cauldron. Lightning strikes down on the earth, destroying the schoolhouse. Classrooms crumble as the students get dismembered by bursts of wind. People have their bodies severed, or they explode, or they're cut up like rags, or they fall unconscious. So, yeah. Woo! That gives us a better picture of the kind of output that Ness achieves after Magicant when he fully lets loose.
This kid is on some weird drugs.
Just battling Mad Duck. And this is all the more dangerous when considering Ness's fighting skills. After much experience, he got to a point where his body would move itself out of pure combat instinct, rather than needing to cognitively think about and consider what's happening. This allowed him to automatically beat enemies in the most effective way possible. And this skill activates whenever Ness fights an opponent, even if he tries not to fight them. It's a pure mastery of combat that extends beyond his control. But even with all of this new power and skill, it was barely enough to scratch Gygus. Ness was letting off full power attacks, but Gygus just laughed them off and sent them right back to Ness, causing massive damage. But at this lowest point, when Ness was taking hits from a galactic destroyer, Buzz's words returned to his mind. Rely on wisdom, courage, and friendship. So the team began to pray, pleading with their friends for positive thoughts to energize Ness and his crew. Until, in one final burst of power, Ness landed a grand slam of a final blow, erasing Gygus from existence once and for all. Now, I know that took some pretty wild twists and turns, starting from a bee warrior sending a kid off to collect music, or fighting cups of coffee with a toothbrush, and then saving the universe, but this is part of what makes Ness and Earthbound so special to so many people. At the end of the day, he isn't some power-seeking warrior. He's just a kid who was totally out of his league, but still wanted to do the right thing and protect his friends and his world at all costs. And sure enough, after the adventure concluded, he didn't go on to bigger and better things. He helped his friends get home, returned to Onnit to tell his mom of his adventures, and ate a good old steak dinner, knowing that thanks to him, the world was just a bit safer. With all that out of the way, our combatants are set. But before we get into the fight, I want to ask you to help out the channel. If you like what you've seen so far,
I don't feel good for Red now. Oh God. Sounds like Ness could just split him in half.
But helps a lot. So if you like what we're doing, please feel free to check out the rest of our series. We all worked super hard on it, and
This is not gonna go good for Red, huh?
Anyway, let's get into our animation to figure out who's gonna win between Red from Pokemon and Ness from Earthbound. Let's get into it.
Hi, Kirby. Can you use this music in a video? I don't think you can without having something really, really bad happen to you, big guy. Oh my God.
That boy I saw should be just ahead. Once he sees how strong you are, he'll have to lead us to that wish spirit, right? Ness, I know that Pooh can pull through this, but my magic, it's not just, I'm really counting on you.
Okay. Oh, great. Ness is trapped in some sort of shadow realm. That's not real, buddy. That's also not real. Neither is that. That is stupid. Espeon stun. That's one down. You're not supposed to attack a trainer, kid. You psycho. You can't attack Red, you psychopath. Oh god. Oh god. Blastus is done. This is one special attack he gets. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh no. Always this Mega Charizard that does stuff, huh? Oh no. This went about like I thought. Kid, you don't need to kill Pokemon, you psychopath.
Alright, so straight up, this might be a serious contender for one of my favorite sprite animations. Each animator did an incredible job, and I'm so...
I think they'd be better between Charizard and Ness for where both of them are doing their strong attacks, but in the end, I think Ness is one of his biggest blasts. I forgot what the movie was called, and finishing off Charizard.
Thankful for everyone's help on the team, from animators to researchers to writers. But now let's break down that result. I think establishing where each fighter landed with stats is a good starting point. And for the sake of simplicity here, we're going to treat Red's entire team as one stat block. For attack power, this was a no contest win for Ness. I could get into specific numbers here, but one person's blowing through a mountainside, and the other character is exploding the sun and boiling the atmosphere. This gets to a point where numbers are unnecessary. Likewise, he was able to withstand these same attacks being turned back against him. This power and durability was going to shoot way past anything that Red has ever endured. Where Red's team did have an advantage, though, was speed. Red's Pokemon have so many different ways to slow Ness down while boosting their own speed by a factor of 4. And with minimal setup, this would be almost no issue for them to take the speed advantage. That said, this starts to get more complicated with our next category, skill. There is no denying that Red is a master at what he does. Maybe the best there ever was. And even when he was a kid, he was able to outplay adults who had trained their whole life. Red especially had an advantage with his team's ability to coordinate and work together. But that said, it's just not a match for somebody whose body is moving all on its own through pure instinct to masterfully maneuver through whatever combat he goes through, even if it's through hordes of enemies. Ness takes nearly every stat here, but it's not like there was nothing Red's team could do. And surprisingly, the biggest threat of all was Espeon. If we say that its magic bounce should be able to work on Ness's PK Flash, then there was a chance that Ness would accidentally take himself out of the match early on. Espeon could also use Power Swap to temporarily gain Ness's attack power for itself.
Oh, Jesus
Unfortunately, even
Christ.
if it were to do this, Ness has been able to take his own attacks and remain standing, so it requires several of these to take him out of the running, which would also take care of any pesky status effects that had been applied. That said, this is all assuming a very optimal situation for Red that is pretty unlikely to play out every single time. Red would have to lead with Espeon, use the exact right moves, pray that Ness doesn't target Red himself, and then there would maybe be a 40% chance of winning. Even in this totally ideal scenario, the best that Red is pulling here is a 2-5 win rate. It's also worth noting here that for Ness, beating up random enemies on the street without a moment's hesitation is just an average day for him. Whereas Red would probably have more of an issue directly attacking a little kid. It's not likely to make him refuse to act altogether, but any kind of hesitation would be working against him. Outside of all of that, all Ness needs to do is land one attack once, and in doing so, the entire opposing team would be wiped out, which he potentially wouldn't even be able to hold back from doing. Ness was just too strong, too tanky, and too skilled for Red to be able to stand a chance. At the end of the day, Ness is the winner, and will be moving on to the next round of the Smash Bracket. Next time on the Smash Bracket.
This went badly. Oh, Min Min versus Little Mac. Honestly, I've got no idea what Min Min can actually do. Little Mac is a boxer. A regular basic boxer who punches things. Honestly, I've got to see in that fight. I've got to go for Min Min. Besides the fact that she made a spaghetti. Oh, that's the banjo statue that Yoshi did. That's the banjo constellation that Yoshi ended up blasting. Don't hurt Jirachi.
I think that's the wish spirit, right?
Good. Jirachi's the wishing Pokemon. Sephiroth!
Pathetic. In the end, all of you shall kneel. Whether you die now or later has no importance to me. I wish you to show me who possesses true power.
No, 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 no. That was awesome. That ending part. Stop being stupid. Oh my god. You won't let me do my outro. No wonder why I can't do my outro. Things are going wrong right now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. And this just became a disaster at the end of my video. But seriously, I'm actually surprised at how badly that went for Red. I expected him to win this in a landslide. But I was wrong. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. See ya!